Right, so we're going live here. It looks like it is official. So welcome everybody to this month's Cosmic Chat. I am Amalia Natalio with Madeleine Parker, and we are here to share with you the upcoming Leo new moon forecast. And Madeleine and I were talking before going live, and she said there's a lot going on in the sky. There's a number of really big transits that are going to affect all of us. We're in Mercury retrograde shadow right now as well. So, take a little extra time in backing up things on your computers. Be very aware when you're on the road, be aware of travel delays, watch how you're communicating with people, and, just kind of lay the groundwork before we go into that Mercury retrograde in a couple of weeks. Because this is and I'm already feeling it myself, noticing little small things that are coming up that I'm like, oh boy, all right. And then they kind of fizzle and they work out okay, but just don't get yourself all twisted up. Like, just stay in the flow as often as you can. All right, so we have this, let me just get my notes here. We have this Leo new moon, yes, on August 4th, which is this Sunday at 7:12 a.m. Eastern, which would be 4:12 or 13 a.m. Pacific. It's at 12 degrees, 33 minutes. So that, pay attention to, if you have any planets at 12 degrees too, because that's a significant number marker. Now, when we're talking about Leo, my birthday is on the 1st. So a few days before this new moon, I'm celebrating my birthday. And so I'm very familiar with Leo energy, that bold, we love to have fun, we love to be the center of attention, but yet sometimes it can make us uncomfortable, although there's part of it still enjoys it. Very heart driven, really, I know for myself, I can get my feelings hurt easily because of that really big heart, especially if I'm giving to someone and there's not the acknowledgement of what I'm giving, or sometimes reciprocity is part of it. It can really hurt my feelings. And so when we have the moon here in this place in Leo, while it is this fun and gregarious kind of energy, there's also a potential of maybe hurt feelings. And then I feel like that connects back to that Mercury retrograde shadow period too, where somebody might say something, just it comes out in a way that doesn't land quite right with me or you or whomever. And you don't have to be a Leo for this to affect you. It's like we're all in this energy where it might really hurt your heart. So just be, give others a little grace in that way. And there is a feeling of safety that can come from this energy when you're engaging with other people and they recognize you, they admire you for something. Let's just say an example would be, this is such a simple, silly example, but, for women, when we buy a new outfit or we get our hair cut or whatever, we really feel great. And we feel even better when people acknowledge how we're expressing ourselves. It feels amazing. I mean, most people love to receive compliments, although some can push them away. But just be very open to any compliments or any praise or any admiration. Really take it into your heart and use that as energy to go forward in this moon cycle. And accept any feedback that you receive from people as a positive thing. It's a way, you now have an exact instruction manual on how you might be able to improve something, and it could be, on my website, I just did some changes on my website, and, the feedback that I might receive, my daughter helped me with that. Thank you, Avery. And, she was giving me feedback on my website and things that I could change. And I didn't take it as an insult. I took it as, great, let's make it better. Let's improve this. Okay, so that's kind of the general, my general take on the energy. And then now I want to share a few of the aspects to the moon, because Madeleine is going to be sharing aspects to the moon as well as a lot of other stuff that's going on. So I'm going to just bring it home for us here, just with some simple keywords. So the moon and the sun, as every new moon, are conjunct in the sky. They're hanging out together. And so, there's going to be that what am I looking for? What the word? Like merging of your inner and outer worlds in a way. So it's a great time. A new moon is such a great time to really go within, meditate, be in nature, be with yourself, and get very clear on how you feel on your inner world so that you can line up with how you express yourself in the outer world, especially with this Leo energy. Then we have the moon sextile Mars in Gemini. So this opens you up to the possibility and the potential of being in a place of problem solving or compromise. There's an openness to it. There's also an openness because we've got the moon sextile Jupiter also in Gemini. So, and Jupiter is expansive. So we have a lot of this very open, expansive energy. It's optimistic, generous. So I love this energy with the moon. And then we also have a trine to the node. So we've got an opportunity here for our inner world to guide us, leading us towards our north node, our divine purpose, coming from an emotional place. So pay attention to your emotions. They are going to give you little clues in how to move forward in your life, which is always the case, but this opportunity now is heightened. So with this new moon. I also have a flower card that I'll share. Sorry,
Amalia. I was just saying, I don't trine to the nodes, but Jupiter is sextiling the nodes, but the new moon I don't see a trine to the moon.
It might have been the chart that I was looking at.
Oh, wait. So. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Widely.
Wide.
Yeah, it's 4, well, kind of 4 degrees. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't showing up on mine at all, but I can see why you're saying that because it's 4 degrees. So, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, yeah. So it's just something to bear in mind, not a super strong aspect. And then we also have, I'd like to share really quickly, and then I'm going to let Madeline just totally dive in here I'm going to share the card that came up for this new moon, the flower support. And we have the trumpet vine. I just giggled when I saw this card because to me, this is so Leo. It's like so bold, so in your face. It's got that orange like energy. And then we've got like the fiery red fuchsia brightness to it. And then we've got the green of the leaves. It's so Leo. And it activates effortless speech. The message is free your voice. And this is a flower that supports an easier discussion of communicating your inner feelings, which is so perfect for the energy of this new moon. And then it's also effortless communication during difficult conversations. So if during this period you have to have a difficult conversation, especially with this Mercury retrograde energy, call on the trumpet vine to give you a little bit of support. You can just visualize it in your mind. You could even imagine that you have a trumpet vine crown of flowers on your head, or maybe you have one like coming out of your heart. And then obviously there are products that have this flower. This isn't the same one, but it looks very similar. Maybe it is the same one. This is called Radiant Energy. It is a mist. And so basically you just open yourself up and mist it in your aura and allow it to fall on you. It smells so good. I wish you could smell it. But these are just supports, like remedies, things that we can do that are simple and easy and quick and free. If you just imagine the flower to support us during this period. And then obviously I'll be sharing flowers for each one of the 12 signs. But yeah, Madeline, you want me to spray a little radiant energy on you?
Literally trying to stop myself from jumping up and getting my spray.
Do it. Go get it. Go get it. And if anyone that's watching, you guys have any aura sprays or anything that can bring like a feeling of joy and brightness into your life with this Leo energy, I feel like that's always, it just makes you smile. It just feels so good.
Yes, and it's so hot out, so it's really a nice little spritzer.
Good, perfect. We'll have it for the cosmic chat. So,
Yes.
Madeline, what goodness do you have to
Yeah,
share?
so there really is, this is a big month. I will be coming on live on my YouTube channel to talk more about this month because there's so much to talk about, so we can't get it all of it in obviously today. But we have a really big transit of Jupiter and Mars coming together in the sky here. It's building on this new moon, and here's the new moon, August 4th. It's going to square Saturn, because this is going to happen at 16 degrees. Saturn's going to be at 17 degrees in retrograde, squaring that. Mercury's going to go in retrograde on the 5th. And Venus is out of Cazimi and combustion and is rebirthed, reborn. And in the same sign of this new moon in Leo, and squaring Uranus. And Uranus is still at 26 degrees, which is where it was when Mars conjoined it a couple weeks ago. And then there was a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction April 20th, ruled by Venus, but all these major transits, plus there was an eclipse on the 25th of March, which was ruled by Venus. And all these things, Venus has been in hiding and not in its active mode. And so now Venus comes out of hiding in its active mode, representing that eclipse and those two major conjunctions of Uranus. So we're going to see some big surprising shifts and changes, and it could happen as soon as this week, because the end of the week before the new moon, because actually Uranus Venus square happens on Thursday. So the new moon is on Sunday. It happens on the first. So this is going to be interesting, because we're really seeing how these eclipses and these big transits, how they really play out. They just initiate a journey here, and more of that unfolds bit by bit in everybody's lives, depending on, how this hits their chart. And then this new moon in Leo happening right before, which is just all about inspired, excited, creative energies, maybe having babies, maybe children, fun, play, experimental sports, because Leo is competitive energy, and it can be also like games and the theater and playfulness and joy, I think you mentioned. So it's like this new moon is in reinvigorating us, that energy, that fire energy, a new fire energy is reinvigorating our passion, our creative drive, the desire to create and manifest. And then that Jupiter squaring Saturn and Mars, because Mars is a fire energy as well, even though it's in an air sign, which is, we'll talk about it in another video, but like just a lot of ideas, writings, movement. It's very like intellectual writing, internet communication, selling, all things third house, all things Gemini. So it's like this new moon in Leo reinvigorates some, because it does have a sextile to that Jupiter during the new moon. So it's like it does have this assistance. It's assisting a reinvigoration around the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction of 2020, initiation, something that we all initiated, or we all became aware or conscious of the beginning of a new path towards an independent means of living, and independence serving humanity as a motive rather than survival. So it's like we that was the path of the Aquarius, and so we initiated that in 2020, December 21, the great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. So now we're having a big square where Saturn comes along and squares Jupiter with Pluto right at that same spot. So it's like we're going to be tested. We're going to have to go do something different. We're going to have to go back to Saturn's in retrograde. So we're going to have to redo something learn something more, fix, deal with the structure. If we've been doing something not in alignment, we have to come back and make it right, in order to keep going. Some people may want to just quit. It might just feel like it's just too hard. It's because the Jupiter path, as wonderful as it sounds, with that, the inspired being out there in the world and doing good and launching into your Jupiter goodness, it comes with the rules of the universe, of Saturn, and the laws of the universe that have to be obeyed. And they're not necessarily easy, otherwise they wouldn't be written in all the religions and all the different religious texts. They're usually the same things, like basically be nice to people and don't steal and don't hurt people and don't try to be underhanded about everything. So anyway, Saturn's coming in, squaring this big conjunction of Mars and Jupiter, where it's about a 2.5 year conjunction, where you're like, do I want to keep going? Am I going to put a lot of energy into this? And you can, because it's interesting that the Saturn is going to square it while Mars is there, because it's going to give you a lot of energy and impetus to fight through this, which is really of great assistance. And then plus Jupiter is always a very protective energy. So there's a lot of good in this, but we're really course correcting, going back and taking care of something that has to be taken care of, that we haven't really known or understood, or need to do better, or learning about how to be on this Jupiter Saturn path more in line to the laws of the universe. So there's something we have to know or learn that we have to go back and fix. But this new moon in Leo is, and also don't forget, Mercury's going to go into retrograde a day afterwards, which rules the Jupiter Mars. So it's like we're really going back and dealing with something from the past, most likely. And you wouldn't want to start anything new or sign new contracts. Like I have a couple people who wanted to buy houses, and I said, just don't sign anything till the end of August, really. So, because, Mercury's going to be in retrograde, and it's in the sign of Leo retrograde. So you don't want to be impulsive. It's fire energy. You might regret it. I remember my son, who's Leo, I think it might've been a Leo new moon. He wanted to buy a car, and it was retrograde. And I said, this is an impulse buy. You're going to regret it. He totally regret. He was so glad that he didn't buy it. He was going to get one of those Eldorados, we have the open trunk, or like an old time. It's like totally impractical.
Oh my heavens.
I said, your chart would tell you that is not a good thing to do right now. So, what else can I go through here? Well, we do have that Venus squaring Uranus. So that's like surprising contact, surprising information. Now, remember, all of these Uranian transits, as tough as they are, they're liberating us. So it's like if you suddenly have no faith in a relationship anymore, and you suddenly feel free of it, or a block that is between the two of you, some kind of an ego block, because Leo can be kind of ego and prideful, like you've been in pride and not talking to someone. Suddenly there's a big breakthrough, because Leo can be a little prideful, and Uranus is there kind of squaring that, going, hey, knock off all the pride and come and be your open-hearted self, because Leo's so open-hearted. Or you do know that you have pride and self-value, and you need to end a relationship because you do value yourself. So you do kind of break free and are completely free of this toxic thing, if that's the case. Or if you're in a healthy relationship, you break through a toxic patterning and you become more bonded, more healthy. But Mercury retrograde, maybe some issues come up that have to be dealt with, that have to be looked at, and then some kind of restructuring will occur around it because of the Saturn squaring. So I guess that's probably as much as we really need to go into right now. I think that's probably plenty.
I agree. And I also just want to give Madeline a little plug too, that she is sharing transit videos and things on, I guess just Instagram, or are you putting it everywhere, Madeline?
Oh, just Instagram. I don't have a Facebook page yet, so it's Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah. So please go check those out. And, that way you can keep track of kind of the
Daily.
daily
Daily.
transits. And then I think you mentioned earlier that you're also going to record a video that shares a little bit more about some of these bigger transits, like that you touched on too with, Mars and yeah. So,
Reports, because my friends are telling me that it's time. I said, all right, I will do that on YouTube.
it is time. It is time. So definitely follow her there and check it out. And that way you can keep track of what is happening in the stars by somebody that you like and trust, like Madeline.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And then if you want to, if other people are looking for, okay, I got the astrological part and, you want a little bit more of a different angle, it's still astrologically based, but I'm also sharing information about the gene keys, which are connected to human design loosely, where you can follow and kind of tune into the energy, just the specific energy of where the sun is in the sky. And there's a lot of ways to do it, but it's very interesting just to contemplate the different parts of the levels of energy that we're experiencing on each day. So, all right, Madeline, shall we dive into all 12 signs?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So we're going to start with Aries, which is going to be interesting because Aries, they have that, these eclipses, Mars rules their sign. Gosh, I went the wrong way. Mars rules their.
Actually, hold on, Madeline, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but did we want to hold up a signage for the?
Yes, I actually have them right here. I was just, in fact, thanks. Yes, I do. I have my Aries sign right here. And the reason I didn't write it is because it's just for me when I do the timestamp.
Yes.
Aries. All right. So Aries is going to have the nodes in their first house. And they've got, don't forget, we got Chiron retrograde. So there's still some more wounding stuff that we're dealing with. And I bet a lot of people had some triggering coming up in Chiron retrograde. And I kind of saw it. It's like, these things are coming back up. Pluto kind of going back into Capricorn, kind of going in one last time, dealing with whatever you have going on in your Capricorn house. Anyway, so this new moon is hitting in your 5th house. So it's a creative project. If you are of age to give children, you could get pregnant and have a child right now. And it's a creative project coming in, or a new relationship, a new friendship. If you are in the performing world, a new job as a performer, creative project, or teachers, children are good with children, a new moon. You could just like get in a relationship because that's a relationship, and then you have a stepchild, and you have a new child, or a half, and then you've got this Mars Jupiter conjunction in your 3rd house, so that would be a sextiling it. So there would be some sort of either short distance travel involved, or writing projects, creative projects, or starting. I'm going to make these reads mostly based on the Jupiter, on our calling, on our Jupiter sort of mission, and that it somehow facilitates. So there's some sort of creative project, and also the 5th house is entrepreneurial. So it could be a writing creative project, that your entrepreneurial creative project with a friend, and you get together and you start writing, and it's going to go really, really flow. It's a really good time to start something new in these energies because of that sextile. It's really going to go well. And it's in Gemini. So like writing or thinking or starting a podcast or starting some sort of media, or it's also like media jobs. You could get, a friend could give you a new job, like a media job, or some kind of a doing web designs, or it's like communications. I just heard of what else it was in a job world, like kind of corporate communications or something. But anyway, sales, all things Gemini. So you're really getting some kind of an assistance here by this new moon around a project involving writing or media that is going to create abundance and a new shall we say, an abundant result of this journey that you're on that has initiated around 2020 December. So basically you're going to be more abundant if you do what Saturn wants you to do. You make that change. You have to commit. You have to put your teeth in it and do it. Because Gemini's mutable. They don't, if these Gemini energies, it's like hard to make a choice, making a decision. So I think that's Leo. I mean, Aries, sorry.
Aries, yes, Aries with the Leo new moon. So interesting, when you were sharing all of that really beautiful energy for Aries, the fireweed came up for them, and I was sitting there thinking, I don't know how this flower connects with what she's saying. But what came to me as I continued to listen to what you were sharing is fireweed, the message is forgive someone. And it connects to heartache or heartbreak in some way. And so Leo being such heart energy, and the moon being in Leo right now, it dissolves those emotions around that heartache that you might be dealing with. And that heartache might be what's stopping you from the creative project or the family that you would like to create or whatever that is. So the fireweed for Aries is a flower that to me is, there's a softness to it that Aries is more, when I think of Aries, I think of red and it's fiery and it's like, go get them. And this is like, just take a bit of a softer approach during this period to heal whatever needs to be healed, recover from that, and then be able to take that initiative forward. And it's also reminding us that love is all around us. And again, so Leo in that way, in my opinion. So fireweed for Aries, I just feel like it's a really, it's a salve for them as they embark on this, for whatever might be hurting their hearts.
Well, Leo is very warmth energy, and that's interesting because your t-shirt says be kind, and it's the same color as that card, and pink is Aries. If you look it up, it's an Aries color. So it's
pink is.
Yeah, so maybe Aries, because Aries can be a little bombastic and step on people's toes. Maybe they're going to be feeling the warmth and kindness of this energy of the new moon in Leo in their fifth house.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taurus. All right. So Taurus. I was dyslexic, so I go the wrong way. There I went. Okay. So Taurus, your lives still are going to shake up because you've got Venus squaring your Uranus. You've got Venus squaring Uranus in your first house still. You've still got all this, because Uranus is still at that degree point, 26 degrees. So whatever hits in a moon, anything, things are going up in your life. Like, anyway, so you're going to have Venus squaring Uranus right now. So some kind of, and Venus is in your fourth house. So there could be family, relationship, disruptions, frustrations, arguments, upsets, knowledge that upsets you about a relationship, or you decide to end. I won't go through all the Venus squaring Uranus stuff because we said that at the beginning, but perhaps some kind of a immediate change in a status situation, and but a new beginning. Maybe you move and you start a new living situation or a new home or a new family, or but a new beginning in your home situation. So you could either build on it, or now remember, it's in order to assist the Jupiter Saturn project that you initiated a couple years ago on the Jupiter Saturn conjunction. So you're going to be assisted. These new beginnings are going to assist and create a flow towards a financial abundance. So it's almost like, I'm going to give an example. You decide you're a music person, you're going to decide to make a recording studio at home, and it's going to make making money much easier because you're not paying overhead, because it's sextiling your second house, which is a creative talent. Leo is creative talent, by the way, creative self-expression. Taurans are really trying to sort of develop that in their field. Usually in Taurans tend to sacrifice creativity for security. So it's sort of something that Taurans can really learn from by losing themselves in a creative passion. It's good for them. So anyway, the second house is creative talent, self-expression. It's also family, but that Saturn square from the 11th house, there is some sort of limitation. around this that has to be done right. You have to get the right credentials. It's in your 11th house. So maybe you have to start a website around this or do something. Gemini is going to be involved, websites, writing, paperwork, contracts, selling. It might be writing online. You have to, because the 11th house is like social media or networking. So you have to create more networking so you can sell something to make more money so that you're, but it's going to work. By the way, anything that Saturn makes us redo and do right now is really going to help. So you either give up or you do persevere through these squares and you have really positive results. So I think I covered Taurus.
All right. Well, for Taurus, we've got another pink related flower, and it's the nectarine blossom. And the nectarine blossom is a flower that comes to you or is supportive for you when you're in a situation where maybe your interactions with people are not as sweet as you would like them to be. There might be some aggressiveness, or there might be some discomfort. Intolerance might show up. And so this gives you the feeling like you're among friends. You were talking about, the 11th house, Madeleine, and, groups. And so finding that you have the support that you need, and there's an energy of being of service as well. So like talking about kindness again, random acts of kindness that you can give to other people, especially people in your family, those people closest to you who you may have a little bit of a aggressive energy with, especially if you are living in the same environment, the same home, to be aware of that. And the nectarine blossom is going to soften some of those interactions quite possibly, and allow you to start off on a different footing perhaps, and allow this new moon energy to shift how you're engaging with your internal world and your external with the people around you, possibly in your home. So nectarine blossom.
Yeah. That's interesting because yeah, third house energy, there was three blossoms. So it's like ideas coming in to sort of take forward, like ideas. That's the other thing about Gemini, is it's going to be ideas too. And this new moon is like an idea of creative ideas. All right, so now we're going to look at Gemini. Oh, I got to put the card up. Yep. Gemini. So Gemini, this is going to be a pretty powerful time for you. You're going to have sudden spontaneous ideas, go feeling energy, writing, busy. You may have to be dealing with something negative or tough because Saturn is squaring your first house. There is something you're having to change about the way you live, or because your first house is sort of who you are, and so Saturn's squaring that. So it's like there's some maturing that you're kind of, your ego, you're doing maturing something around this idea. So there's an idea you had that was all fun and games, and it was because they're mutables, these Geminis, and they come up with fun ideas in 1 minute, and then the next minute they're like, hey, I changed my mind. It's kind of like Aries can be that way too. Like, so it's like they're going to be tested to check, can they persevere through this thing? Can they take on this project and persevere it, or were they just talk? So Geminis are going to be tested very strong. Are they committed enough to this sort of altruistic path? But it's in their, Saturn is in their 10th house career. So, it will be very, very positive. It could likely be like some sort of government sort of situation, or a law, or something coming in and really bringing up problems that you have to deal with from the past. Mercury will be also going, with the Mercury retrograde, and that Venus is squaring Uranus. It could be bad news about something because Venus is in your third house around money. And so, but with Jupiter there and Mars there, these are powerful new initiations. These are new beginnings. It's almost like these hardships are spurring us to fight harder to get over these humps. And then it's like when you get over a hump, you really go, woo! It just, there's a lot of momentum in that Jupiter, Mars, and you get through it, and you're protected. You win. We win over the Saturn square. So so for Gemini, maybe selling, communication, all things Gemini, internet, websites, writings, really new beginnings, because whenever Jupiter's in your first house, you're really initiating new projects that are that are your guru path, you know. I hope that is enough.
Yeah,
or clear.
that totally makes sense. And we've got yet another pink flower coming out for Gemini, the pink primrose. This activates rapid growth. The message is make it effortless. And I feel like a lot of what you were saying too about, you know, the aspects with Saturn and Venus, there is this feeling of, and then we also have the Leo new moon energy that's coming in with creativity. So there's a creative, energetic coming in with the pink primrose. There is a thinking outside the box, that Gemini thought, kind of thinking bigger, thinking outside of what has already been done. Also this feeling of being called to action. So getting clear on what your inner world is going to guide your outer world. And when you bring those two together, then you're able to take action in some way. And so the pink primrose for Gemini is saying just that. There's a potential for growth, for creativity, for creation, but having that sense of the moon, your inner world, the sun, your outer, in unison, then you're able to take that action. So pink primrose.
What's interesting about that particular primrose is it looks like it's exploding. And so that's something for Gemini to feel at this time, like things are going crazy, like things are going quickly, fast, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. Love it.
So there we go. Okay, so now for Cancer rising. By the way, it can be your sun, your moon, whatever, or Venus, or your North Node even. All right, so Cancer is having this in their second house of money, which is great. And also it is your value. Feeling sometimes a new moon in your second house can really show where you're not valuing yourself, where you're not charging enough for what you do, or by low self-esteem issues can really pop up. And for healing and for you, it really reveals where you're having low self-esteem issues or where you're not valuing yourself. So be careful around that. And it is the positive, though, there's really good new beginnings in some sort of creative occupation or work or job, and it's joyful. Again, all these new beginnings, when it's ruled by, this is a new moon ruled by the sun, which is our favorite #1 planet. Anyway, and it's like it's just sort of expansive and positive and creative and good money, and you know, it's like abundant. And but then we're going to look at this Jupiter Mars in your 12th house squaring Saturn in your 9th. That very much is a travel thing, hitting the travel houses, or the 12th house can be kind of karmic, dealing with issues that are deep in your soul that you don't deal with, that you want to just bury. You don't want to grow around it. You can spiritually bypass these areas, you know? So you kind of like are digging out and learning. Gemini's learning. So you could be really digging deep and learning and studying something, because I often do that when I'm Cancer rising, when I have planets in the 12th house, I get really into learning, study, because it's Gemini house, learning, or at a creative project, you go isolate and work on a creative project with another person. What else? So, and then Venus is in your second house, squaring Uranus in your 11th. Again, perhaps shocking news around money, finances, or job or work, or that you don't have good self-esteem around a relationship. You could get really triggered where you haven't valued yourself. But then you liberate from it. You're free. You really get something. You see it. And you're very liberated to make new beginnings, you know, because this energy of Leo, new beginnings, it's like a new baby. It's like way new growth. The Sun card in tarot, it's like new rebirth of all the struggles. It's optimism. It's optimistic. So, and then Saturn coming in and squaring it, it's kind of making you go back and do something, all things ninth house, which is travel, teaching, studying, going back and learning something. Or going back and starting to teach, or learning now what you need to do. Saturn, but that's the other thing with the Saturn square, is as tough as it is, it gives you clarity. You know what you have to do. It's like, so you're going to get clarity about something you have to do, to redo, you know, around your Jupiter Saturn mission. So it's like you're going to go back and rewrite it, redo it, restructure it. Now it can be a challenging aspect because of Pluto in your 8th. So you could have issues with taxes and past karmic tidy ups with relationships. Capricorn rules your 7th house. So it's like Saturn rules your 7th and your 8th. So there could be like going back and dealing with karmic ties up around money and joint resources. So there's some challenging stuff there for Cancer. So go ahead. What do you got?
Well, they have the pomegranate flower, which actually looks a lot like the flower for
Interesting.
yeah, for Gemini. But we've changed up the color. So now we've got, to me, this is more Leo oriented color as we're getting closer to Leo. And the pomegranate flower, the message is around detoxing and re-energizing, and it activates strength. So the second house is money, but it's also what we value and how we value ourselves. So this feels a little bit more relating to personal value versus finances. So bringing in this energy of vitality, you know, again, the sun is very vital. It energizes us. You know, I mean, think about a day that's gray and cloudy, you feel low energy, where a day that's sunny and bright, you want to get outside like Madeline and go paddleboarding. You want to be in the sunshine. And this also connects with creative self-expression, which is also very much part of the story right now with this new moon cycle. So I love this. And also ridding your body of toxins, ridding your environment of toxins. So it's, you know, in the US, there's a lot politically going on in the landscape for us right now. Maybe turning the TV off a little bit more and not having so much of that coming at you will allow you to tap into your vitality and your strength instead of being pulled down by the energy of what's happening that you have very little control over. Really just being aware of what you're putting in your body, what you're putting in your mind, and allowing your body to reset and revitalize itself so that you can take action in this whole new way during this new moon period. So pomegranate flower for
Yeah, that's like me out in the sun, under the sun, like, you know, getting sunburnt.
maybe don't go that far with burning, but yeah.
Yeah, that's like creative self-expression looking part, isn't it? Very much.
Really is. Really is.
So that's the thing to add to the Cancer reading, is that this new, I know my son is Cancer rising and he's starting his own business, which is creative self-expression, second house, you know, his own thing. So that's part of it. So,
Yay.
all right. So now we're going to go to Leo. And so that's big for Leo. There's my Leo card. So Leo are going to be, so this is like the new moon for Leo, where they really step forward on a big way. They really brush off the obstacles. They really persevere, push through, because they've got this sextile to their 11th house, which is like they break through something by persevering right now over 11th house issues, which is internet, social media, networking, clients, a new tribe, technology, being out there in the world, a spokesperson. Saturn squares Jupiter and Mars in your 11th house, getting over some, because it's in your 8th house, Saturn is in the 8th house, so some sort of real fear, there's a breakthrough And so there's sort of like a breakthrough in your social media or a breakthrough in your networking, and some sort of creative new opportunity comes in involving this networking or situation, because you have Mars and Jupiter in your 11th house. So that's going to be meeting lots of people, Gemini, talking, communicating. That's going to be a busy time on social media. You want to get out there, Leos, a lot right now. And it goes with ease. And then the Saturn is in your 8th house, which is financial fears or debts or something. So it could be very positive. I've seen squares to the 8th house and debts. So there could be some sort of ease of success on social media that enables you to end some sort of debt, or some sort of success starts to show up for you easily, this new beginning, a new opportunity that moves things forward for you. Now, a lot of these new beginnings are self-initiated, because Leo is a fire energy. Leos are leaders. But there can be some sort of an opening or an opportunity with a Gemini in the 11th house, meeting somebody, communicating, an internet, an email comes in. Now squaring Saturn would be a challenge to that. So there's some restructuring involved. Mercury is retrograde, which rules this transit. So going back and redoing something involved, like redoing a website, or collaborating with people. So having to structure, let's say you start to collaborate businesses with somebody, so you have to restructure the businesses, but you have to go back and redo some contracts, or, so it's a pretty nice one, actually, because Jupiter in your 11th house, you meet a lot of new people, you get new clients, they spread your name, a lot of word of mouth, good for selling. And then Venus there, squaring Uranus in your 10th. It's possible you quit your job suddenly. If you have a jobby job, this new opportunity enables you to make money this other way, or you decide to sell on your own and you quit a job, so that you can be more on your own creative way of doing things. Because Uranus in your 10th house is kind of, any minute now, your career takes a different shape. My son, he's Leo's son. He has literally quit his job and taking on his own business. So there you go. Leos, good energy though for Leos. Lots of fun.
I dig it.
And maybe throw that in
there. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, thank you. So we have the gardenia for Leo, and I love this flower. To me, it's so beautiful and dainty, yet there's a power to this flower, and it's pure. So it's like a whole new start, a whole new fresh beginning for Leos, being able to, I think of Leos as like paint the town red kind of a thing, but now you get to decide what color you want to paint the town. And you have this like blank canvas to work with. Gardenia activates shifting your perception, transforming your weaknesses into strengths, being able to see yourself as you actually are. And I feel like that is a big piece of this, being able to see yourself differently, embracing all the parts of you. So it's allowing your shadow side to be there, which I don't know that Leos always see. It's always this bright, sunshiny sort of a thing, which is awesome. We love those people in our lives. And at the same time, to be whole, to be balanced, embracing all parts of yourself is so important. And so gardenia allows Leos to do that, especially during this time when you have the moon in your first house of self, to ponder who you are and the dark and the light side of yourself, and bring those together into a whole being, and then being able to express yourself from there. So gardenia, to me, feels very powerful for Leos.
That's very interesting, because it's a very important message in that card. And it's like it's the sun card, right? Because what's happening is this is the Leo card. So this is the shadow side of Leo, would radiate their own self, their own ego, they're just to make them look beautiful. But really what the Leo is supposed to radiate is a divine light. They're supposed to bring out it's sort of like the creative self-expression, but through that, they're really supposed to be expressing divine energy that ignites other people. And that's
Yes.
like that card. It's like that card. It really is the Leo breaking through their own ego expression and filtering through the divine cosmic truth or something. I don't know. That's what it seemed to be.
I love what you said. And I feel like that is very true. Very, very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Okay. So Virgo. So you guys are going to have your ruling planet in your first house going into retrograde. So you are really going to be experiencing this retrograde Mercury. And then this Leo new moon is in your 12th house, which is sort of like overcoming a egoistic barrier around your work. So it's almost like breaking through, because some kind of it, because you've got Jupiter and Mars in your 10th house, so some sort of new meetings, new writings, selling and work, and becoming, shall we say, busy and active and proactive and looking for jobs if you're single, if you're not in a job, or working hard, particularly busy time for you in your career house, expanding your career, or if you're taking your individual path, it's not a job and it's your own career that you're taking on, you're really going to make good contacts. This is a good time for you. You are getting this sextile from this new moon. So either it's an opportunity to travel or teach or a creative project, self-expression, or some kind of a creative project like building. If you're a Leo and you're in the architectural world, you build houses in the country, you're getting this opportunity, a job opportunity comes in. But then the big snag with Saturn there saying, are you in alignment to your calling of your Jupiter? Is this following? Saturn's going to be in your 7th house. So you're going to have to, like, it's in retrograde. So it might involve a relationship from the past, or a partnership from the past, or a romantic partnership that you were going to do a creative project with. It broke up. So now you're going to go back and work with them. Or it is involving your partner because Saturn there. So you both are restructuring your careers to come together in a joint creative project that may involve travel, because Uranus is in the 9th house of travel. And Venus is squaring that. So you could suddenly hear news, you suddenly up and travel. Or you hear bad news about travel and you suddenly can't travel. If you are planning to travel, that could change. Or, and again, a big one would be a suddenly new big belief system with Venus squaring Uranus. A sudden new belief, a sudden awakening, suddenly realization. And it involves that inspires a new beginning for you. That does do very well for you. These are going to be abundant new beginnings. Leo new beginnings are, Leo is also entrepreneurial, so they can do very, very well. And Jupiter Mars is abundant. It's a happy yoga. It's a good positive thing. So that Saturn's the big bummer, but you know, it's if you listen to Saturn and do what Saturn wants, it goes well. You just obey. So that's Virgo.
All right, Virgos, we've got, this is an intense flower, the black bat flower. And when I look at this, it to me just emanates 12th house energy. There's an intensity to the 12th house. It's often fairly uncomfortable. This feels very connected to the 12th house. And it activates fierce compassion. So as you're navigating this time period, having compassion with yourself and also compassion for others, there's an energy here of advocating for yourself and advocating for others, having a confidence and a fearlessness to do that. And that may come from all that you've learned as you now land in this 12th house position for this Leo new moon. It also gives you the strength to speak your mind. And Virgo is, you know, is ruled by Mercury, mind energy. So you'll have a clarity of mind and being able to express that clearly. I don't know if the retrograde, Mercury retrograde energy will affect that too much for you, but it's there nonetheless. And I would just say for Virgos, you know, when you're looking at this flower, what emotions come up for you? Where do you feel it in your body? And take your hands and place it on whatever part of your body that is, and just give it some light. Imagine that the sunlight is emanating from your hand, or imagine that the sun is coming and shining its light on that spot. And you might find that gives you a little hint of healing or a little hint of clarity around what that energy is that you're experiencing. So black bat flower, for
Well,
Virgo.
the 12th house is Pisces, and that's Jupiter, and the color purple is Pisces.
There we
So
go.
interesting. And then you know what that's interesting too about that color? It's a very introverted internal energy. So it's like Virgo are going to go, this new moon is kind of want to go inward and really
Mhm.
connect and get some kind of inspiration from some sort of deep cosmic source.
And I mean, that's every new moon is about going in.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yep.
really not a time for large, I'm having a birthday celebration for myself on the 3rd, and there's a group of us gathering, and during that time period we'll be together, but on the actual new moon day, it's a day for me of rest and reflection. So I
When's
know a
your
lot
birthday? What day's your birthday again?
the 1st.
Wow, you're going to have this new moon right on your sun.
Close, yeah, very, very close. Full
That
moon right on my birthday last year. So it's
wow.
big moon time for this girl.
A year of massive new beginnings.
All right,
Libra.
Libra, let's
All
go.
right. So Libra have this new moon in their 11th house. New networking, new tribe people, meeting new friends, new groups of people. And then you've got this Saturn, and you got Mars and Jupiter in your 9th house. So a complete and utter shift in beliefs. It's almost like you meet these new people that just eases this whole new opinion about you. Like if you weren't spiritual, now you just suddenly become really into the whole philosophical spiritual thing, and it turns into some sort of a creative project on the line in front of people. Very like I could be writing and publishing, and you get a publishing contract to write something. And then, or also the 9th house is travel. You suddenly spontaneously travel, or Saturn stops you from traveling. Because you don't have your passport or something ready, but basically, now you're ruled by Venus. So Venus is squaring Uranus. So you're going to feel that transit. You're going to get a sudden surprising information around money, taxes. It could be pretty bummer situation, but you are alert to something, some kind of a problem that's draining your money or causing debt. It's possible you have this new opportunity, this new moon that's really beneficial, that enables you to suddenly end a debt, financial opportunity, because this is a very positive Mars Jupiter sextiling your 11th house. I mean, that's like really lucky. So it's like good luck meeting friends that encourage you to travel, or write a project that enables you to have money, that enables you to end a debt. And again, this could be someone from the past, could be people and friends from the past, because Mercury is going into retrograde, which is going to rule the Mars and Jupiter conjunction. So some kind of people from the past, and it could very well involve travel, because Mercury is in the 12th house, or in the country, meeting old friends in the country that spur some kind of a creative new opportunity, or you feel really inspired to initiate a new creative project involving peers, friends, and it could involve writing, and it could involve spirituality and beliefs.
All right. We have the mountain laurel, another purple flower, a little softer than the black bat flower. This activates comfort. The message is let it all hang out. Being comfortable with yourself. Finding that place within yourself where you see there is true greatness in the world, and looking at your circumstances and where might you be holding on to something too tightly. So, thinking about the 11th house, maybe there's a friends group you are holding on way too tightly that it's time to let go of them. Have the mental freedom, like let go of the thoughts you have around this group. Let that go so that you can embrace something new, a whole new group, a whole new tribe. And it also gives you the energy of playing big. So if you are doing some project, or expressing yourself in a new way on social media, or through your groups and tribes, and maybe on Facebook or whatever it is, now's the time for you to confidently step up and step into the role that is waiting for you, versus feeling like you have to play small, or you're not fully comfortable with yourself, because people know that, they can feel it and sense it. So mountain laurel gives you the little boost to do that for you Librans.
Yeah, I mean, talk about bringing a whole bunch of people together. The 11th house, it's like that bunch of flowers. It's like a whole bunch of people coming together. So it's like Libra bringing a whole bunch of people together, galvanizing a whole bunch of people together, some sort of new venture or new tribe, bringing people together. So that's kind of cool.
It is. It feels great. It feels like a really auspicious time.
All right. So Scorpio. This is my Scorpio card. Scorpio. If I left that up long enough for me. All right. I'm the one that has to find it. Okay. I am adding the timestamps. Okay. So Scorpio have this Leo in their 10th house. So there is a new creative career job, getting a new job, basically flat out. And it's going to be inspiring. It's the right job if it's inspiring with Leo over your 10th house. There is a creative element, creative self-expression to this job. Like, for instance, let's say you've been looking for a job and you love flower arrangement. Well, you get a job in a flower arrangement place, like somewhere where you get to do something you love, you know. And then it's sextiling your 8th house. So it really, it's expanding your ability to pay off the debt or overcome your fear about debt or money. And also with Mars and Jupiter there in your 8th house, you're restructuring your finances, your joint finances with a spouse or partnership, so you can continue your journey, knowing more information about your money, having to possibly get a loan or seconds on a house. I mean, it's a very busy energy. You're going to be working hard at something there, signing contracts, maybe. Mercury in retrograde is not a good idea, but could be buying, maybe making a big purchase with Mars, Jupiter there, big purchase, big investment. But it is good for your project, or you get a really good job and it raises your income, or you don't have to get an income anymore because this is a really good abundant investment comes through and you get to quit your job and start your own true guru path. Again, Saturn squaring it, you really tests you whether you're really up for that. What was the word I thought that Saturn was doing? There's a term for it. It'll come. Like putting us to the grindstone or something. But anyway, that's not the saying I'm looking for. But anyway, Saturn's in your 5th house. So, you know, that's entrepreneurial or friendships, restructuring, clearing tendencies towards sort of karmic friendships, and it's restructuring creative projects or your family if you're having children, but squaring. So maybe you can't do something because of your children, because you have to take them to school, or something gets blocked because of the children, or because of requirements or money needed for an entrepreneurial project. But basically bust through. This new moon in your 10th house will really expand your income and your finances so that you can persevere through this block that shows up from Saturn. So go ahead.
All right. So we have wild hawkweed for Scorpio. And again, we've got this really dynamic Leo energy here. And the wild hawkweed tells us to fall in love with ourselves. We're whole, just as we are. And what I love about this card, connected to what you were saying, Madeleine, is that there is the support to reduce non-constructive want and desire. So it's that imbalance that we might feel, especially that Leo, with that Leo energy of, I need admiration from the outside in order to feel whole on the inside. This is saying, no, 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 no. You know, you can feel the love, cuddle with your puppy or kitty, or cuddle with your kids or your friends or your partner or whatever, and feel that love, but know that that love is emanating from you, not them. It also is an energy of supportive self-sufficiency. So you really don't need a whole lot from other people. Scorpio, 8th house. It's, you know, there is that, you know, money from other people vibe, or, you know, debt or owing someone, that sort of thing. And this is saying, no, 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 you don't need to rely on somebody else to take care of you. You can do it yourself. You don't need so much from other people. So I love this wild hawkweed for Scorpio, for everyone. I think we can each take a little page out of this book of falling in love with ourselves just as we are, recognizing that we are whole and we don't need anything outside of us.
Yeah,
So
because if you Leo over your 10th house, you're gonna have low self-esteem or not feelings of self-worth in relationship to your career. So you're getting under jobs that aren't your full value kind of a thing. And so now that's kind of like, you're going to see that and you're going to break through and up your value. So
yeah,
that's kind of, yeah.
I feel like I want to like tattoo that on my face.
Yeah.
Like constantly see it as a
Put it on
reminder.
a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Okay. Sagittarius. So you guys are going to have this full moon in your 9th house. So that's like new moon potentially around travel, teaching, courses, doing a course. An opportunity could show up to travel. You're going to have Saturn is in your 4th house and Uranus is in your 6th, squaring. Saturn is squaring everything in your 7th. Jupiter. Interesting. Man, it's an interesting one. So basically a new opportunity involving travel that could be very abundant, or you have a big new awakening, a new belief. So you start working in a new field, a new job opens up around spirituality, you decide to become an astrologer, and a new beginning, you feel really motivated, or you have a new belief around philosophy. What else? Cultures. You could meet if you have Venus there, you meet your new person, because Leo can be very much a romantic, because it's a 5th house energy. It's like relationships with a foreigner, someone that's not your same culture. And with Venus squaring your Uranus, maybe you do have a surprise meeting of somebody that just completely shatters your old belief system about who you should be in a relationship with. And Uranus in your 6th house, you are going through health transformative changes of day-to-day routine. So this new opportunity or blocks of travel, some kind of financial setback. Venus square Uranus could be a financial setback, but this new moon opportunity is a lucky house, sextile Jupiter, but a relationship comes in and collaborative effort with a relationship, or you just get into a relationship with Mars Jupiter there, passionate relationship, because Leo's passionate, it sextiles this. So maybe you meet somebody, a relationship happens, but Saturn squares it. Maybe you can't live together, or you can't, there's logistical problems, but Saturn in your 4th house, government issues or problems with the house. Mars Jupiter squaring Saturn in your 4th, you could suddenly have plumbing problems or structural problems in your house, or you have a problem if you're trying to sell or buy, there's some sort of blockage. But a relationship action, you could get into a conflict with a relationship with that Venus squaring. There could be relationship conflicts, but with the Saturn squaring your 7th house, you could decide to end a relationship. Absolutely. You decide to get divorced, end it, or you decide to end, or you end your single status. And you get into some sort of co-collaborative, because you have Jupiter there in a co-collaborative project with a divine mate or counterpart or business partnerships. And you have to get very, very busy, and it's going to open up travel because it sextiles the 9th. I hope I'm not like jumping around with all of that, but
No, I feel like you explained
okay,
that. Good. So Sagittarius, we've got the red hibiscus for you all, and this activates a fresh perspective. This is a time to, hit the refresh button on your life. And I can't recall what's been happening with Sagittarians. Madeline, you could probably speak to this better than anybody, but I feel like there's been a lot of situations that create emotional stress, like working through some things that can be rather challenging from an emotional perspective, stressful. And this allows you to kind of separate from that emotional stress, understand that every challenge that occurred and every part of that experience was there to help you grow and to contribute to your personal growth, to your experience. And now you have a different perspective as you look out on the world, and you have a different perspective as you begin to create something for yourself. You know, we have that Leo energy here. So the red hibiscus, I think, is a really beautiful flower that offers some relief and some hope for the future.
Yes, and it also looks, the flower looks, compared to the other flowers, it looks calm and stable because Leo is a fixed energy. And with a Saturn square there, it's maybe these are new beginnings that last a long time if we follow the law of Saturn. And it's like that flower seems very solid, like this is a solid beginning. So
yeah, that's a beautiful perspective.
Yeah, and don't forget, Leo is a fixed sign, which is a manifesting energy. So, all right.
Capricorn.
Capricorn. So Capricorn have this Leo in their fourth house. So new family, you can have a child, new living situations, new opportunities, or you could find the house that you're looking for. I know a Capricorn that would be great for new homes. You buy a new home.
Are you sure it's the fourth for Capricorn? The moon?
Sorry, thank you. I got Aries there. Sorry, eighth. Wrong. Eighth house. But it will impact your fourth because your fourth is a fire sign, so trines it. So anyway, for some Capricorn, but a new beginning in their eighth house could be a new financial loan coming through, a loan coming through. It could be buying a new home because you're applying for a loan and it comes through, a new opportunity. It will come through, but then that square to Saturn might be like in the third house, some kind of Mercury retrograde. Something has to be cleared up. Something has to get paid off. Something has to be redone. Saturn in retrograde in the third house, most likely involving contracts, paperwork, information, knowledge, communication. If it's a website, you have to go back and redo your website. Information with that Venus squaring Uranus in your fifth, Venus in the eighth. Could be news about taxes, information involving a child also suddenly shocks you. They have big tax debt and you have to help them out. Anyway, with the Venus squaring Uranus in your fifth, you could also suddenly be pregnant, discover you're pregnant, or suddenly end relationships, very much end a relationship that's causing debt in your life or just trauma. And then with the Jupiter, Mars in your sixth, you're definitely, you're going to be very, very, very busy. Capricorns are going to be extremely busy working or their day-to-day or dealing with health stuff, frustrations potentially, but there's a sextile to the eighth house. So good money comes in because of that, enabling you to end the debt or enabling you to qualify for a new loan so you can move and upgrade your living situation. Because it's sextiling, it's squaring, though it is squares Saturn. So, you know, there might be a snag in paperwork, credit issues, you know, something has to be dealt with. Mercury's in retrograde, so it's going to block if you're not lined up.
All right. Well, Capricorns, we have the rose for you. And, you know, it's so funny with this card. To me, it doesn't really look like the traditional rose that you see at the grocery store or whatever. So every time I see this, it doesn't feel like a rose to me when I look at it. But when you like really tune into the energy of it, it does feel like this very high vibrational, loving flower. It almost like draws you in so that you can lay down in it and it can just wrap itself around you and nurture you, nourish you, comfort you. And that's pretty much what this flower is here to do. It's to remind you to nurture yourself, to take care of yourself, to be tender with yourself. And, you know, especially if you're having some health challenges, to really take care of yourself. It heals emotional wounds and also, so I believe a lot of physical issues that we have relate to emotional wounds and traumas that we have not dealt with, that we just held. And as we held them in our body, that energy began to break down that part of our body and created an atmosphere where an illness could take hold or an injury could happen. So the rose is is very heart healing. Leo is very heart forward, heart energy. So this feels really, I don't know, it feels like exactly what Capricorns might need right now. It's been a tough slog for them for a while. And it softens the hard edges that they might otherwise be feeling. Madeline, you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, it's interesting because that it's the eighth house, which is that wounding, that deep trauma, that pain around love, right? That sort of deep trauma, pain, obsessive love, or that pain, you know. And it's like this new moon is this healing that what we were talking about, but it was like, what was I thinking? It's in the eighth house, and so it really is about dealing with the shadow side. So
Mhm.
you are probably going to get triggered, Capricorn, or probably getting triggered. They're sore, the heart's sore. But I think this new moon, and it could very well be a new relationship because of this sort of healing of the soreness of the heart. That was what I was going to add, really.
Yeah. I was just thinking about some Capricorn Leo
Oh,
combos
really?
that I know that some things were coming through. Okay.
All right.
And
I
then
have
we
a
have
lot of
Aquarius.
Capricorn in my chart, so I have like 3 planets Capricorn. My Venus, Mars, Mercury are all in Capricorn. And I just did this major heart healing sound bowl therapy with a sound bowl therapist, and she put this heart bowl on my heart, like unbelievable. I mean, my heart feels like that flower. It really feels sore. It was like really, really went in there and like dug out old pain, and it was amazing. So anyway, it was kind of, it's exactly what I just said.
Well, and I'd be interested to hear later how that sound healing on your heart,
Yeah,
how it manifests in your life experience afterwards. You know,
yeah.
do you see changes? Do you feel changes? Do your experiences shift
Mhm.
into a different frequency,
Yeah.
and maybe opening yourself up to love in a new way?
And hopefully healing trigger points so that you're not so triggered, because if you get triggered, you're not, there's more healing to do, so you want to heal it, the heart, so you're not triggered all the time.
Yeah. Or at least notice when you do. I mean, I had some
Right.
silly thing happen a couple of days ago where I got it was like, it was as if somebody like punched me in the stomach and then like hit my heart with the palm of their hand, kind of like heel of their hand, like it was like, and it was the dumbest thing. And then I thought, okay, great. I don't like this feeling, but it's giving me an opportunity to ask, why is this coming up? Where is this coming from? And can I shift it? Because logically, the reaction I was having made no sense. And I feel like
Right.
this is a great opportunity to be able to do that. And then, you know, now I'm playing with that energy a little bit, and then I'll have to see how that feels in a few weeks or months. But you having like a physical shift with the sound and the vibration,
Really
that's
powerful.
potent. Yeah.
I mean, I'll let you know what starts to play out as a result, but I do feel very different. You know, it feels like my heart just went wide open, like a big wide open. And that is the Leo kind of energy, you know, that open heart. So
Yeah.
get a Leo and get the sound. There's a sun sound bowl, a Leo sound bowl, you know, get different energies of the astrologies, and then put them on different parts of your body. And it's
Or
powerful.
you could also use, actually, I have mine right here, tuning forks with different frequencies on your body. And, you know, I have to use something to activate it, but can you
Yeah,
hear that?
yep, those work amazing. I have a friend that does massages with those, and I'm telling you, every time she works on me with those, whatever the issue is gone, like totally gone. Like I don't know what happened to it.
Well, and you can literally put the end of it like right in your heart
Yeah,
center. You can use it to like comb through your energetic field and clear things out. They're really fantastic. So
cool.
that would be another form of healing. Okay, so Aquarius.
That is a really messy Aquarius sign, but that is the energy of Aquarius. It's very electrical. Okay, so Aquarius, you guys have Pluto in your first house. You guys are going to go through big transformations for the next 15 to 20 years. And you have Uranus, your ruling planet, in the sign of Taurus, which is in your fourth house. So sudden radical shifts and changes, moving all the time. I know some Aquarius that are constantly moving, shifting around their living situations. And then we've got this Mercury retrograde in your 8th, Venus squaring Uranus. So you could have a relationship upset, information coming in that really upsets you about your relationship, or information you find out about the house you're living in, some kind of maybe perhaps not good news that could be financially upsetting between the two of you, could really rattle your relationships. Or you suddenly meet somebody and you move because it changes your living situation. There's some sort of conflict between your relationships and your living situations, or change. Sometimes squares are just simple change. And then you've got the Mars Jupiter in some sort of writing creative project joining there in your 5th house. So entrepreneurial projects of business selling, squared by Saturn in your 2nd house. So there's some sort of financial, maybe you get taxed and it takes money away from a creative project, and you just don't know if you want to keep going with it or you give up on it. But this Mars Jupiter is really, really abundant. Keep going. You're going to be very busy with this kind of a project, a business, or when the nodes are in your 3rd house. So it's a business, energy, running a business or communicating, websites, blogging, writing, media. And then some sort of, or the 2nd house Saturn could be some sort of skills or abilities that you don't have yet to do it, which stops you from being able, like you have to learn something, you have to do something right on the script, you have to learn structure. If you're writing a script, you have to stop and learn proper script structure, something like that. And then, but this full moon, this new moon is in your 7th house. So it's very many can be literally a new relationship, or you get pregnant with your new relationship, or a new business partnership.
All righty.
Yeah.
So Aquarians, we've got the pink magnolia for you. And the pink magnolia reminds us to take care of ourselves. So with this being a 7th house moon sun activation for you in this new moon, I find it interesting that this is a reminder to take care of yourself, to take other people's needs into consideration, but it's really also, what else do you need? Are you giving your energy away to others in a way that's not supportive of you? Which I also feel like, you mentioned Uranus in the 2nd house. Is that correct? Or Saturn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saturn, you're always in the 4th.
Yeah. So Saturn in the 2nd house. So, it's really being able to understand your value that you hold, and that it does matter. It's not just about other people. Take them into consideration. Aquarius is also 11th house. It's your tribe, it's your community, but you can't sacrifice your own self for other people. This reminds you of that. Feeling complete, whole, and worthy. And reminding yourself, like this flower reminds you to be careful to protect your energy so you don't get burned out or resentful of other people who might be pulling on you because you haven't spoken up for yourself and expressed what it is that you need. So pink magnolia for Aquarians, just like such a sweet looking flower.
Yes, and it's the relationship, right? Two separate flowers. So it's hitting in their 7th house of relationships. So it's a relationship transit for Aquarius. And last but not in any way least are our fabulous Pisces. Who hung in here the whole time, or hopefully not now because I have timestamps. So Pisces, you have Saturn in your 1st house. So you're going through a lot of maturing, a lot of growing up around and becoming more skilled or more responsible, taking on more responsibilities in your life. And it's going to square Mars and Jupiter, which are transiting your 4th house. So some sort of living family situation or problem in the family squares ends your something. There's a problem there around, maybe you have to move because you can't grow where you are. Suddenly you just really have to move. There's a problem in your situation, and family upsets. Father could come in and give you bad news or problems. And then we have Venus squaring Uranus and Uranus. So there could be some bad news in relation to relationships that could trigger you, or be upset, or a change in plans. With Mercury retrograde is often change in plans that could be upsetting. And Venus squaring Uranus in the third house could be information that you see online that upsets you about your spouse. You could definitely get into a conflict that is definitely argument material right there. What else? So the new moon is in your sixth house, so new beginning. Now, a lot of Pisces are creatives and they have planets there. Sixth house can be a very musician plate because you have detailed, precise, precision abilities, ability to move your hands and do detailed work ruled by Mercury. So it's like there's a creative sort of, can be a creative job coming in that makes you very busy. It's a new job where you're able to do your creative self-expression. Your talent involves your talent. Leo is also talent. So these are new beginnings involving your true talent, Pisces, and artistic or self-expression and work involvement. And it sextiles the fourth house. So it can enable you to buy a new home. It can enable you to stay at home and work. Something moves very slowly with home and family, or this new opportunity enables you to, I know a Pisces rising who a new opportunity like that would enable him to get a new home and move. And then we have Saturn squaring this. And let's say the new opportunity comes in, but they don't get a down payment for another month. So there's holdback, or a new opportunity comes in, but you don't have good credit, and, you know, there's going to be some sort of snags or something around it that need to be dealt with. So, but with Mars, Jupiter in your fourth, you're going to be very busy, most likely moving, Pisces, most likely moving. A new opportunity comes in, that a new job that makes you busy, that enables you to have the money to move, or to change your living situation, or upgrade it, or move in with someone, or have someone move in with you.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Pisces, we've got the red bird of paradise for you. And the message is get it done. It activates focus. So, you know, when you're thinking, when I'm thinking about the sixth house, it's like all these tasks, the things in your day-to-day life that really just need to get done. What have you been avoiding? Do that now during this time period. Get that thing done, because that thing that you've been avoiding is probably the block in the dam that needs to be removed in order for the free-flowing energy to go. You know, and this also reminds me a lot of Leo energy, and there's a feeling of drive and passion and just this effortless kind of action that once you clear whatever that is, that thing you've been avoiding, it can just flow naturally and easily.
Yeah, and that really does look inspired, because they're creative, artistic. So I really ought to add that they're very inspired by this new beginning, that they're very lit up, which is exciting.
That is exciting. That is exciting.
And in general, for everybody, it's the more we operate on the Saturn square from higher ethics, because it's in Pisces, in a very sort of, the more we advance spiritually right now, our knowledge, the more abundant we're going to be on the other side of this transit, because Saturn is always wanting us to be our better, highest version. So it's like, we have to be like very conscious that we're operating and starting these new beginnings from a good energy, a high vibrational, not a fear, karma kind of energy. So Saturn then will work very well for us in this transit.
Oh, I love it. Feels really good. Yeah, feels good. Feels like lots. And like my right hand, the palm of my right hand and right foot are like tingly, which to me is like things are coming in. There's action that's ready to go, and it's time to do it. Like move.
Yeah, I agree. I like that movement. I just hope Saturn doesn't stop too much, but you know, we want that Mars Jupiter for sure.
Awesome. Well,
all right.
Madeline and I want to thank everyone for being here with us, for tuning in. Please do. And if you're on my page, please go to Madelaine's and give her a thumbs up. If you're on mine, pop over if you would be so kind. And we will see you all in a couple of weeks. We'll let you know on social when the dates and the time will likely be the same, but the date will be different. And yeah, have a wonderful Leo new moon, everyone.
Good luck, everybody. Have a
Bye-bye.
great week. Bye.